Welcome to HI, Global Military Updates. This is the place where we update military developments, global strategy, and the power of modern weapons. In the sky, there are not only weapons, but courage is the ultimate weapon. March 2021, shocking news appeared in the world's media. A fighter jet model named F-36 King Snake. What makes this aircraft so special? According to the information revealed, the F-36 is expected to replace all F-16s in the U.S. military before 2030. But that is not what amazes the technology and military community. What is really remarkable is that most parts of this fighter will be manufactured with 3D printing technology, a breakthrough in aerospace. Today, we will explore every angle of the F-36 King Snake fighter jet. What made the difference and advancement of this aircraft? June 9, 1982, Operation Mole Cricket 19 broke out. The Israeli Air Force used F-15 and F-16 fighter jets and achieved brilliant success, not losing a single aircraft while shooting down more than 80 Syrian aircraft produced by the Soviet Union and nearly destroying all of Syria's air defense missile bases. After this battle, the F-15 and F-16 quickly became famous, becoming hot items in the global arms market. This air battle also further strengthened the U.S. military's belief in the importance of air superiority fighters. Since then, the U.S. military began to seek major military companies to develop a more advanced fighter aircraft to replace the F-15 and F-16, becoming the next main combat aircraft of the military. This plan was named the Avenger Tactical Fighter. September 4th, 1997, at Darwin-Maryborough Air Base, state of Troya. The world's first fifth-generation fighter, the F-22 Trooper, was officially unveiled and completed its first flight on September 7th of that year. The test flight went smoothly, and the indicators all met requirements. Manufacturers began fine-tuning the final details for this aircraft. If nothing changed, the F-22 would replace all F-15 that had served for 21 years and become the U.S. military's new main combat aircraft. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of the Air Force, Mr. Edwin Edwards, was very excited when he received the test data. He said, "This aircraft is truly a masterpiece of the century. It will completely change the course of war in the 21st century. When put into service in the next 20 or even 35 years, we will not have to worry about aircraft performance. This will be a great step forward for the U.S. Air Force." However, the original plan of the U.S. Air Force, when submitted to Congress for approval, with the intention of purchasing 750 F-22s to replace all F-15s, met with opposition from Congress. The Air Force was forced to reduce the number purchased from 750 to 648. But this proposal was still not approved by Congress. A congressman said, "I do not oppose upgrading the Air Force's equipment, but we need to proceed cautiously. We cannot gamble with taxpayers' money. The performance of this aircraft is indeed excellent, but we do not know what problems may arise in the future. If something happens, a smaller number will make it easier for us to handle." Congress recommended that the Air Force purchase a small number first to test effectiveness, then decide whether to invest more. After many negotiations lasting until 2003, the two sides finally reached an agreement. The Air Force would buy 227 F-22s, and Congress agreed to fund it. 2005, the F-22 began to be put into service in the U.S. military. But as Congress predicted, problems soon arose. The skyrocketing maintenance costs caused the Air Force budget to soar significantly. According to estimates by the U.S. Military Logistics Bureau, the production and maintenance cost of each F-22 reached $361 million. Fortunately, the Air Force only purchased 200 aircraft. If it had purchased 750 as originally planned, this enormous military expense would have given the U.S. military a headache. 2006. Thanks to the relentless efforts of the Air Force, the production and maintenance cost decreased to $170 million per aircraft. But compared to the cost of the F-15C, only about $29 $49.9 million, the F-22 was still excessively expensive. Replacing all F-15 with the F-22 would make the military budget double or even triple. Although expensive, the performance of the F-22 to this day is still considered the best in the world. Because the production and maintenance costs were too high, the U.S. Air Force could not use the F-22 to completely replace the F-15. Instead, it designated the F-22 as the top fighter, specializing in difficult missions. After that, the Air Force decided to develop a new type of aircraft to replace the F-15 and F-16. And the F-35 was born. 2006, the F-35 made its first test flight and officially joined the Air Force on August 2, 2016. However, the cost of each F-35 ranged from $77 million to $101 million, along with high maintenance costs, causing the plan to replace all F-16s to be delayed many times. The U.S. military hoped the F-35 could replace the F-16 and become the main force. But with a cost of up to $101 million, replacing all F-16s was impossible. To solve this problem, in 2021, the U.S. military decided to introduce a new plan. In a meeting room at the Pentagon, officials and Air Force representatives gathered. Are losses acceptable for the U.S. military? And what will the attitude of the congressman be towards this risky plan? After a moment of thought, he gently tapped the desk, signaling everyone to be quiet. If there is no pioneering spirit, the United States would not be where it is today. Let's try following the Chief of Staff's plan. This plan was later officially established by the Air Force, and the new fighter jet was named the F-36 King Snake. For security reasons, we do not know which company submitted this proposal to the Chief of Staff, but through leaked documents, we can see the Secretary's choice was bold. According to the plan, the wings of the F-36 will use the curved arrow design of the F-16XL, a design that does not need four planes but can still create strong airflow and control, while increasing the angle of the inner wing, improving aerodynamics and making the aircraft's body sleeker and smoother. The aircraft will fly more stably at high speeds and low altitudes, combined with powerful engines. Initially, analysts predicted it might continue using the F110-GE-129 engine from General Electric, an engine that had been equipped since the 1980s, notable for its high performance and low failure rate, the most common engine in U.S. military fighter jets, such as the F-14, F-15, and F-16. However, military experts refuted this opinion, saying that although this engine was stable and reliable, it lacked the necessary thrust. The F-16XL was equipped with this engine, and if the F-36 also used it, its performance would not be much different from the F-16XL that had already been eliminated, unable to meet the conflicts of advanced fighters in the future. Therefore, it was highly likely that the U.S. military would use the F-135 engine of the F-35. The official answer was given. The Air Force finally chose the Pratt & Whitney F-119 engine, a lower-cost version for the F-36, an engine already equipped on the F-22 and currently one of the most advanced engines in operation. If used successfully, it was estimated that the F-36 would reach at least Mach 2. Restarting production of this engine would also benefit the maintenance and upgrading of the F-22 later. In terms of flexibility, the F-36 was expected to use a large wing design, providing fast turning ability and excellent maneuverability for the aircraft. However, the Air Force said, although the design focused on maneuverability, the F-36 was a lightweight, low-cost fighter jet, not possessing strong combat capability, mainly aimed at beyond visual range attack capability, reducing cost compared to other fifth-generation aircraft. The F-36's design did not focus on stealth capability. This was not entirely bad because it avoided the worry of external weapons affecting stealth capability. The large wing design also had another advantage. It allowed for more weapon hardpoints. For example, the F-16XL, although eliminated in the competition with the F-15E Strike Eagle, had many similarities to this design. In terms of weapons carrying capability, the F-16XL had 17 hardpoints with a payload of up to 6.8 tons. The F-36 could inherit this number or even more, but exactly how many would need to wait for further reports. As for sensors, the F-36 was expected to use the advanced APG-83 AESA fire control radar and the IRST Legion pod system developed by Lockheed Martin, allowing the aircraft to search for and lock onto targets without using radar, destroying the target without triggering the enemy's radar warning. So with such configurations, could the F-36 become the new main force of the U.S. Air Force? In 2021, the U.S. military announced some details about the new fighter aircraft, expected to replace all F-16 before 2030. Due to the urgent timeline and heavy mission, all materials and technologies used for the new aircraft were those that the U.S. military was already using or had developed. Therefore, the new fighter jet would be a combination of all the advanced technologies the U.S. military had developed, such as the engine of the F-22, the wing design of the F-16XL, and existing systems. To save time and costs, the U.S. Air Force also announced that most of the aircraft's parts would be manufactured with 3D printing technology. The core of the F-36 project was the principle of high cost effectiveness. The main goal was to replace the F-16S that had served more than 45 years in the U.S. Air Force and become the Air Force's main force, combined with the F-22 and F-35 to form a flexible lineup. Therefore, the F-36 would not be the most advanced aircraft, as some media had said. In reality, it was a mid-range fifth-generation fighter playing a transitional role. However, this helped significantly reduce research and development costs. And with the experience accumulated in producing fifth-generation aircraft, the development cycle of the F-36 would be shortened considerably. With the basic configuration from existing designs, or slightly modified modern designs, the F-36 promised to bring clear economic efficiency. According to U.S. analysts, the production cost of the F-36 would be less than half of the F-35. Although it lacked stealth capability, the other features of the F-36 reached about 80% of the F-35. Although many aspects had been simplified, the F-36 would still be equipped with the most advanced avionics to ensure effective combat capability. As for weapons, the aircraft would be equipped with a cannon and could carry many types of missiles. There was no official information yet about which missiles the F-36 could carry. One point to note was that even without stealth features, the F-36 would still be very difficult to detect by radar. In addition, the F-36 also had a weapons bay, allowing it to carry air-to-air missiles during air combat missions without needing to attack the ground. This helped save costs where necessary, while spending wisely on important points. However, a practical problem the U.S. military faced was that they had already begun researching sixth-generation aircraft, while the F-36 was expected to launch around 2030. If by then the era of sixth-generation aircraft had begun, then the F-36, a mid-range fifth-generation aircraft, would become obsolete. Although it could be classified as a fifth-generation aircraft, the F-36 lacked the stealth capabilities of this generation. Although the U.S. Air Force had proposed the plan to replace the F-16, information about the F-36 was becoming increasingly scarce. The U.S. military also avoided mentioning details about the project's progress. Most current information came from the media and military observers. Had this aircraft already begun development, or was it still only a project on paper? Perhaps we would have to wait for more information from the U.S. military. What do you think? Will the U.S. military use the F-36 to replace the F-16, or will it wait for sixth-generation aircraft to appear and skip the fifth generation? In the sky, weapons alone are not enough. Courage is the ultimate weapon. The story of the F-36 King Snake shows us one thing. Power does not lie in absolute technology, but in strategic vision and wise choices. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Hai. See you in the next video.